Okay, this is going to be a short video, hopefully a short video, to show how to set up Open Directory on a Mac running Big Sur with the Mac server and use home folders or network folders. This is something a service that Apple has sort of depreciated over the last few years, but it is still possible to do even under Big Sur, and I finally got it working, and I thought I'd share. So you install. So after you have your computer set up, your new Mac running Big Sur, the first thing you should do is go and give it a fixed IP address. Not the App Store. I keep clicking in the wrong place. Go to System Preferences and Network and configure manually. You give it a fixed IP address and subnet mask and put in the router and the DNS server. Now, it's pretty important that your router is able to do like a DNS override, to be able to point to point to your fixed IP address when somebody types in the name of the server. Now, I named my server M1 server because it's a Mac Mini M1, and M1 server.ranch.sch, and that's just a bogus domain. But it's on a private network. But it's very important that that DNS server, that router can function as a DNS server and point to this IP address when I put that in. Now, I use pfSense, which is a great product. I love it. And it has a DNS forwarder function on there, and you can create host overrides that points to it. Okay, so once that's done, I'll make sure that actually that does get done in here. Make sure that you go into the DNS and put in that router as the DNS server. I was having problems initially, but anyway, it's very important that you start with a fixed IP address. It's Mac OS server hates it when you change its IP address, and it hates dynamic addressing, especially for use with Open Directory. Okay, so once that's done, you can download the server app from the App Store and turn on Open Directory, and you can make it an Open Directory master. Now you see it, as I said, I named mine M1 server.ranch.sch, and you really don't have to do much in there. Okay, then when you can add users, make sure you go not to all users or local users, but once Open Directory is running, you should be able to go to local network users. And then you can add users. Now, for some reason, I do not understand it, but Open Directory is set up, and I don't know why they depreciated the home folders, or excuse me, the network home folders. I really don't understand what the use of being able to log on to different computers but not have easy access to your stuff is. I think network home folders are so useful, and to depreciate it, I do not understand it. I'm sure somebody will tell me why it is, and I know it doesn't work perfectly, but it still works pretty well. Anyway, so they took that away. So if you just create the user, which I'll create another test user. Let's see, I think I've got tester 3 and tester 4, so I'm going to say tester 5. And I'll leave tester 5 as the account name. Now you can have the full name. I could put my full name in there, and put a shorter account name. That's fine. Assign a password here. I'm just going to put test and create. Okay. Now that created the user. Now we're going to go see, and you can even see it created in my users folder, which is on the hard drive. It created tester 5. Now here's an important part. Instead of creating shares in the server app where you used to have them, now we have to go into the system preferences and go to sharing, and you have to turn on file sharing, and that turns on SMB file sharing, Samba file sharing, which used to be what was used pretty much for allowing access via Windows computers. Now, I don't know, since the last couple Mac operating systems, Apple has used Samba and not used Apple File Protocol, AFP. And AFP, if you've got a Apple file system disk, you can't use AFP anymore. So it has to be Samba, and make sure you share the user folder. You shouldn't really have to do anything else other than sharing that user folder. You don't have to assign other permissions or anything like that. But make sure that user folder is shared. All right, now I've got that tester 5 created, but we're not done. And this is where I had the hardest time. If you right click or control click and go to advanced options, all right, account name tester 5, OpenDirectory users, all that's fine. Here is where you have to make some changes. So the home directory should be capital N network / capital S servers / the name of your server. Mine is m1 server.ranch.sch, and then leave the /users /tester 5, or name of the short name. Okay, don't put a / at the end there. Then the SharePoint. Now you notice that the SharePoint that's on there right now says that's grayed out, says AFP, but you cannot use that. It's got to be SMB : / name of the server. Mine is m1 server.ranch.sch / users, and then end with a /. Okay, then path to home folder. Put the short name in. So in this case, it's tester 5. All this has to be in exactly right. Click OK. Now when I go onto a computer that's bound to that, it should work. Now let's show you that part. Oh, let's see here. How can I do that? So I'm going to bind this to the network server, and this is using the client now. I was just using screen sharing to get to my server, and now I'm on my client, and I'm going to bind this client. So I'm going to, in the users and groups, you have to unlock it first. Network account server, click join, and you can actually just start typing the name of the server, and if your DNS is working correctly, it should show up here. So I'm going to say okay. Yep, trust, continue. Now I'm not so huge on security because I'm behind a very good firewall. So see, now it says it has this server ready to go. I can close out of that. Okay, back to the server again. So here I created for myself a little bit of a just a cheat sheet that has to be in the advanced settings. Network, servers, name of the server, and then the username. Make sure it's SMB, and then the path to the home folder. Make sure you put in the short name. Let's see, I did find I've got problems reusing names. I set up somebody else's name. I set up once, and if even though I deleted the folder when it didn't work, because I did it wrong, I had something in there wrong. Even though I deleted that user folder, when I went back in and created it again, it was still causing problems and it still wasn't working right. So I had to create a completely different username for that person. Well, I hope that solves some problems for people. It seems to be working for me, and I'm so glad I finally got it going. I thought I better share. Have a happy networking.